All right, welcome back to the Three Teachers Podcast.
Episode, is it 4? 4.
Yeah, this is episode 4.
Okay.
And it's part 2 of the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion.
Yes, it is. Oh boy. Another one.
Another doozy.
There we go.
So we're going to start it with a warm-up where we catch you up on what we've been up to these days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Then we're going to go into our breakout groups. And in our breakout groups today, we're going to talk about each of the couples and how they played out in this episode.
Yeah.
Just kind of building on what we did last time.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more free-flowing
Yeah.
because it's just sort of where the episode took us, but you'll get where we're going, I think.
It's a little redundant,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Well,
it's very intertwined.
Yes.
All of the different
Yes,
people.
they are. Uh-huh.
And we didn't see too much of the guys this episode.
No, except
So-
for
At the
Joe walking
beginning.
out.
Yeah.
at the beginning
Yeah.
we saw a little bit
And
of
then
them.
Polly
Yeah.
on FaceTime. But that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about
I
that.
know, right? Yeah. I know. Well, here. There we are.
I
Remind
did.
each other.
Oh, yeah. Totally forgot about that part.
Yeah. After that, we'll finish up with our rising star and our friend who needs a break.
Okay. $10 million. To whom can guess this one?
Yeah.
That'll be in like
it's an easy
IOUs.
guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe that person needs 10 million PBIS points, whatever that looks like to you.
In your
Yes.
school district, you know what PBIS points may mean.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. All right. So what am I watching and thinking? So Bob and I, we've been continuing watching our HBO shows. I'm not like loving enough to be like meh about it. So we've started watching reruns of Silicon Valley, which if you haven't watched it, really good comedy. A ton of really great stars have come from there. So if you have ever a chance, it's about like a tech company. Yeah, that seems a little boring, but it's really about like quick-witted, really great comedy, very good characters. I have continually watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let me tell you, if you're not watching that right now, sorry, Meg, because I know you're still catching up with Beverly Hills.
It's okay.
We're missing something.
Mhm.
It is really good. Dynamic, provocative, really engaging, like makes you want to watch every week. And then my trivia fact, because we're doing trivia facts. So I have 2 amazing brothers. I'm very blessed. I'm the only sister of 2 brothers. But one of my brothers is actually my twin brother. And I find that's like the only claim to fame I have is that I have a twin brother. So I'm like very excited about it. So that's fine.
Cool. I have twin cousins.
What?
But
Identical fraternal boy girl.
Fraternal. Boy.
Okay. Oh, boy. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Okay, Karen here. What I am watching, or what I watched, The Boys of Buck County. It's a
What is it
Dateline
about?
kind of thing. And there were 4 teenage boys that disappeared around the same weekend,
Uh-oh.
but had nothing really in common. So it's researching, well, it's a
Documentary
Police.
type thing? Okay.
detective kind of thing where they intertwine how they're related and if they're related, but it's so good.
All right,
It's
what,
so good.
what channel is this on? Because this is
I
totally
think
up
it's
my alley.
on Netflix. I think.
Did you ever see Making a Murderer?
Yes, I did.
Is it similar? Because that series like connected totally with me.
Well, this is only an yes. Then
Okay,
you would love
okay,
it.
okay.
Yes, you
All
would
right.
love it.
So Netflix, you think? I will
I think
look it up.
Netflix.
Okay.
Or Peacock. It's one or it's. I only have Netflix, Prime, and Peacock, so it's one of those.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I'm also on Peacock watching Vanderpump Rules reruns,
Yeah.
which I love. I'm
Yeah.
on season 2. I can rewatch anything that I love,
So
and I love Bravo, and I will rewatch all of the
yeah, everything again.
franchise.
Kristen Doty, you still liking her or not liking her?
Oh, I've never.
Yeah, me
liked
neither.
this.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. This is
No.
why we're friends. Okay.
And a little trivia about myself is the figurines. So I didn't grow up, but once I got married, I started collecting Disney snow globes.
Oh my God, Disney
Ooh.
ones?
Yes, and
What a
I
great
was such
start.
a Disney fanatic, and Precious Moment figurines. So
Oh my gosh.
so we're at my house right now. So if you guys go to certain rooms, you will see them.
Mhm.
And it became apparent to me that it was a little awkward because one of my friends came over. She stayed for a few days. She goes, Karen, it's getting a little creepy with the globes. Okay. So I kind of have stopped. So it's so I used to be huge into that.
All right, Meg, I sense a scavenger hunt coming to us at some point.
I do too. I think as soon as we stop recording, we're gonna have to go.
Yes, you will. 2 separate rooms.
All right, you're gonna hit it with the Disney fans, though. I will say.
Me.
I used to be.
You hit it with me.
I used to be so, and some got ruined in moves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But so big, and I used to collect all the VHSs. Those are what you put into it.
Tape player.
Yes.
Yes, I got it. Okay.
And if you didn't know that, you're too young to be listening to this podcast.
We have them all in our classroom still.
True. Yes, we do.
With the
TVs with the VHS.
Yes.
They'll probably be there forever, huh?
Yep.
But really cool. Okay, so Meg, what are you into?
So I just finished this season of Survivor. It really did not end the way I thought it was going to, but it was awesome.
Right. Okay.
It was awesome. I mean, same as last time for me. I just love the way that this cast interacted throughout that, which made it
fast.
It did.
I feel like that was a fast season.
Yeah. I don't know when it actually officially started though, because I had gotten a few episodes behind before I first started watching it. So it's for me been really fast. I've only watched it in the last few weeks, but I really recommend watching that. That was awesome. The Circle just finished up on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I loved the ending to that. That was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, this season was really good. Again, I would recommend season 1 and season 4 if you're gonna check it out.
Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting. While we were sitting here, I noticed I didn't have anything written for the trivia about me. Thank you, Karen, for noting that.
Real question mark for us.
It is, but I'm feeling inspired by this Disney moment we just shared. You know, that's always something I can talk about. Mm-hmm. My family loves Disney. I'm going there after the school year ends. I think we're leaving on the 23rd or the 24th of this month.
And you can visit me?
Yes. Anytime. I will absolutely be visiting.
You know what, Meg, I was going to tell you, I was actually, so I have to go into a communal microwave room to heat up my lunch at work. And I have to go through Karen's co-teachers, or one of her co-teachers' rooms to get to the communal microwave. And I was today talking about something Big Brother related, which is on CBS. Yeah, I know you do.
Okay.
But he was talking about how he's a Survivor guy.
Really?
And I was like, and I actually said, I was like, oh, Meg is all about Survivor. So we had, like, literally I talked about you today to him. So you might want, anyways. But
I do need to touch base with him on that.
Yeah, he's a big Survivor. Since, like, the first season, Richard Hatch winning, which I remember.
I remember that's the only one I watched.
Okay.
To be honest.
But, like, he's all into it. And I was like, you know, who else doesn't do it? Meg is into it. So, okay.
Yes. I would love to talk to him about that, especially this season. It was really
We have some good insight. I could tell.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So next up, Teresa and Louie. Some minor technical difficulties later.
It happens.
All right. So we're talking about Teresa. Because Louie really wasn't into it much, except for, like, the beginning.
Although I do have to say one thing.
Say it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when Joe stormed off saying, I'm quitting, my sister's not my sister, she's not. And Louie knew nothing because he couldn't hear backstage. And he just automatically just assumed that Teresa was right. And he's like, no, she is your sister. She is. And he's like, how do you even know? You couldn't even hear her.
Good for Joe saying that, too. Like, you wouldn't agree with that statement if you heard what she was just saying to me.
And as well, he shouldn't.
No. Agreed. And I will say, I mean, I'm not going to say it on the podcast because we're teachers and, you know, you never know who's listening. But, like, the whole B-boy that he's being called, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not appropriate. No. It's not appropriate. And he had every right to be upset. And this sparked the whole thing that she didn't, you know, she called him it or didn't say no to him being called it. It's not appropriate. And I really feel like that needs to be said. Like, you know, it was meant to be derogatory and be hurtful.
And she would flip a lid if someone said that to Louie.
Right.
You know?
Yes. I also, like, identified, I forgot, I think it was Margaret who said it's kind of a dictatorship with Teresa.
Yes,
and I was like,
yes.
Yep, 100%. That is what it's like to be friends with her or on a show with her. And when she left the room, wasn't it really interesting how many of them were like, oh, she's gone. I see a softer side of you and she's not here.
Yeah. With Jen.
Yep.
That was an awesome point in this episode, too. But what a great point.
Yeah.
If you're going to get to Jen, you got to do it without Teresa in her presence.
Right.
Well, and that's what the whole season showed.
Yes.
When she went away from Teresa for those few episodes and was siding with Margaret when she made up, she was such a softer, more reasonable person.
Right. Exactly. And I also thought, like, she just always has to make her point. Like, we moved on. We get it. She thinks Margaret stirred the pot and brought up the dust. I get it. She just can't move away from that point. Like, I feel like, you know, whether it was with Jacqueline and continually going back to Jacqueline not having her back, or Caroline or whatever, like, I just feel like she continually brings up the same sort of point. Whether or not people have moved on doesn't matter. And it's just a really big eye roll. Like, when I hear these things and I see her same motive, I'm like, ugh.
Every time.
And even when Andy tries to tell her, even if Margaret didn't bring it up, I would have brought it up.
Yeah.
And Teresa was like, oh,
But
okay,
she's
that
supposed
makes
to be
sense.
my friend.
But then even when she returned to the stage, she was like, she still made little jabs about it.
She can't
even
move
though
on.
Andy totally agreed,
Right.
with Margaret.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, she just can't. It's like anything to make herself, like, it's like she can't move away from from herself feeling like a victim, hurt, even though it's not even having to do with her. It's her boyfriend, fiance, whatever.
Grudges, man.
Yeah.
There's got to be something deep there for her.
Yes.
For that to be her responses for this whole season. And then in the middle of this episode, we get his ex-girlfriends are doing this to him because he's dating Teresa Giudice. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Oh, God. That's so bad.
Painful. That was painful to watch. And then she ended it with, like, maybe if he was dating someone like Margaret Josephs, this wouldn't be.
I know.
She's such a backstabber.
Yeah.
And why is she like that? And I know we all have siblings and we're quite different from them, but Joe is nothing like that. Her brother.
No.
And
I
they're
love
raised
Joe.
in the same home.
Karen, it's because he knows what he has to lose.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's been shown you will lose friends, family, you'll lose the show, you'll lose money, you'll be backlash. Like, I feel like Joe and Melissa feel like there's no winning because they know what it's like to go against her. And I almost feel like they've given up.
I do too.
Like they said, it's been 11 years of their family. Andy said it. It's been 11 years.
But why is Teresa the way she is? Holds grudges, is not self-aware,
I think she's a narcissist.
So is that innate? Why is Joe not like her?
I don't know.
It's odd. I know he knows what he can lose, but it's odd.
I mean, I feel like you don't. It's not. I don't think it's a genetic thing. I think it's an innate thing. You would think that after everything she's been through, she'd be humble. She's not. Do you see her being humble at all?
No.
She was
God.
like I said last time. First year, maybe out of prison, or when she went away.
When she was the Zen Teresa, she came back as.
She was a little bit, but what?
Yeah.
And
there were
not
air
anymore.
quotes around my
Yeah.
Teresa.
No, I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's because she knew that Joe was going away within 3 months, so she was just trying to keep together this semblance of a family. But no, I don't. I think she's a narcissist.
In the long run, when Joe did go away,
Yeah.
I think she actually was way happier. So maybe that played into the part of her being a kinder person at that time. And now she's just reverted back.
No,
she's not truly happy.
I think also, like, when you have millions of people rooting behind you, how do you not get a big ego? And maybe she feels like she can do no wrong because how she stooped so low before, and people have still rallied around her. You mute the people you don't want to, and you hear the ones that you do. And I feel like that's what's maybe emboldened her a little bit.
Yeah.
And she feels she's the backbone of this show.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think I've seen her call herself like the Queen of New Jersey.
Right. Well, Louis did too. Louis said, Margaret wants your shot.
Yes.
I want your spot. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I wish she wasn't. Like, I think I would enjoy this show more if it was focused around some of the other cast members more. Because every time she spoke today,
we all cringed.
She's so polarizing.
We all took a deep breath every
Yeah.
I noticed that.
You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get with her. It's going to be deflect, deny. distract.
Felt like you were in a classroom, almost taking that breath. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
let me reset before I continue
like
watching.
you're doing something wrong,
Yeah.
and you're not doing anything wrong.
No.
But you have to like reset yourself to be around this person.
Mhm.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is like, and I said this in the previous episode, her redeeming quality is her family, it's her kids, which is why I'll say again for the 4th time, I think that she should have her own show showcasing this, and I think she'd be a better version. I think she'd be less polarizing. She'd still get the same amount of viewers, but I feel like, she, again, is a good mom. She takes care of these 4 kids. Joe Giudice is out of the country. You can't deny that. She's gone through a lot.
I agree.
And that's the redeeming quality for me is that she is this. Her whole life is her kids.
Gosh, wouldn't you love to hear what people have to say who love her?
Yeah.
As opposed to what we're... we clearly all do not.
No, well, I think
but I would love to hear the opposing...
Yeah.
So if you're out there,
talk about
please comment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
I love it.
What are we missing?
I know. What are we not seeing?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Meg.
It's interesting. No, it's interesting you had brought up the spinoff for them again, because I don't remember what I was listening to the other day. I couldn't tell you the validity behind anything I heard. I have no idea where this came from, but I did hear in something the other day this idea of a spinoff for them, and I was like, what? Like, that's exactly what we've been saying, too. So I just tried to look it up quick.
For Teresa and Louie and the family, the girls.
It sounds... So I just tried to look it up quick, too. It said it sounds more specific to Teresa. So it's the headline is Teresa Giudice hints at wedding spinoff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very much like Bethany Frankel.
Yeah.
Remember she had the whole...
Yeah. And
Bethany's
like
getting married.
Candy Burris from Atlanta. She had her Candy getting married. Yeah. But maybe that'll land, and that can just be the starting point for her new show, Meg.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully we'd see a happier version of her in something else, because this was outrageous. I don't know why you would want to be on a show that makes you seem so miserable.
Because she doesn't see it. She's a narcissist.
She doesn't see it. She is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Teresa and Louie?
Nope.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. So our next people are...
Melissa and Joe.
So we kind of entwined Joe and Teresa and Melissa. Anything specific about Melissa, you guys?
I had a few things. When she walked off stage to go get Joe because he had left and Teresa was not helping the situation, like, I do feel like she does take charge of stopping the messiness. Like, I feel like she's like, this cannot continue. Like, fine, I'm going to go back there. I'm going to make it nice. I'm going to put everyone in their place. I'm going to make everyone come out. And she did.
Yeah.
She did. She did do that. But I will say, she looks so stressed and she looks so over it. Yeah. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, if they value Melissa and Joe as members in Real Housewives of New Jersey, I think you do have to look into whether or not Melissa and Joe will continue on the show. Because she looked, the entire past two reunions, like, she looked like, I'm over. I don't want to engage. Well, like, I'm done. I'm done with this storyline.
I hope she really is, because she does say that every...
Didn't she to you this time, though? Like, she's not as aggressive. She wasn't as talkative. Like, I feel like she's just folded. I think she's just, folded her hands.
I was going to say the same. I feel like she's given up now.
Yeah.
Like, when she went back to go get Joe, I felt like that was there's no way we'll win anymore.
Do you think she will then, because it clearly hasn't changed over years, do you think she'll leave the show?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I actually wrote a note that said, honestly, if Melissa and her family were a show, I'd watch it. And the reason why I thought that is because watching her on this, I was like, I don't think she wants to continue with this narrative.
I don't think she does.
Yeah.
Because she's tired of it.
Yeah.
She is fed up.
Yep. So I agree with you, Karen. Like, I think maybe Teresa's not going to, but maybe she does. You know?
Yeah. And that'd be really good for her. I mean, she almost gets villainized in this by Teresa over all of these seasons.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a great What Would Happen Live? Watch What Happened Live with, if they do get spin-offs, Teresa and Melissa on the same episode.
Oh, they'd be fighting over ratings and who
that's my hope.
Yeah.
But it'd be a thing to watch.
They certainly would be fighting over that.
Yeah.
Did you have anything, Matt? Because I had one other thing, but it's small.
Just that Melissa seemed very like sensical compared to the rest of the
She seems like a very logical parent as well.
Yeah.
Like talking about the with her boys, the talk.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have the talk yet? She's like, no, but I could see her doing a really good job with that. And Antonia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Having
two sets of friends now.
Yes.
And embracing the move.
And but I kind of also think that might have been an excuse. Like, because Andy said, oh, is she better now? She never said yes or no. She just like, well, she has two sets of friends and she is loving it.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, that wasn't really answering the question.
Right.
I mean, it was, but kind of
a dance around the question. Yes.
So I'm not sure how true that was. It
did seem avoidant.
It did.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I literally wrote down, I was like, teenagers, girls can be tough. Mm-hmm. And I think that, girls are tough anyways. But, like, it's true, like, teenagers especially. So, it's funny you say that because I literally wrote that for her. So, all that she's going through with Antonia, I think, it's tough.
It's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One other thing I had written down, and this goes back to Teresa, but I just had a different section, was, so she clearly is a talker, not a listener. But one thing I have to be kind of a little bit nervous about is I don't like to bring up the kids because they're kids, but did anybody else feel like Gia's becoming her a little bit?
Yeah.
And that,
her mom.
Yeah.
And that everything's against us and everything can be taken as so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just kind of feel like, is she not sort of showing Gia that you can make anything as a negative and then make it your problem?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of was a little nervous about that, but anyways.
Yeah.
I could see where that would be. I mean,
yeah.
That's what she saw her whole life.
Right. Like, think of her two parents.
Yeah.
Right? Joe and Teresa.
Right.
Joe, not such a great role model.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, good mom.
Yeah.
But, again,
she got lied to and she got sucked up in her
she was like kind of a
she's a pawn.
And but I think Gia, yes, I could see where you're going, but I think she's a little more logical and than Teresa.
I hope so. I hope so.
Three. Who
Yeah.
is it?
Marge
and
Joe up next.
Okay. Marge and Joe. Let's see.
So
nothing about Joe really at all.
No, not at all.
No, I did feel bad for him at the beginning of the episode, when Teresa was yelling about how much she hates the two of them and how all of this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him and his wife. And I gotta be honest, he took that.
He didn't say anything.
Right? Yeah,
he's really
he just allowed himself to be that punching bag for that moment because I think that he knows that. There's no
winning with her.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. I said, like, I mean, my mentality towards Margaret is, and I know it, she can be messy, and I'm not trying to dismiss that, but most of the time, I genuinely feel like she means well.
And she's real.
Yeah.
And she's real.
And she's straightforward.
Yes. And I
like
honestly think,
mm-hmm.
we talked about how intelligent she is.
Yes.
She could eviscerate Teresa. She could absolutely just take her top to bottom with words and actions and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't. But I feel like she could.
I do too.
And I feel like that's true. I don't know, sort of almost like, I don't know, being a friend. I don't know if you want to call it classy, whatever it is. Like, the fact that she's not, I feel like says something because I really do think she could.
Which makes her a stand-up kind of gal.
Yeah.
For knowing she could and restraining herself. Because, I mean, Teresa unleashed on her and all she had was a brutal, colorful vocabulary filled with exactly 3 words that she just kept yelling over and over again.
Yeah. That's all I really had for Marge, though, this time.
Let me see.
I love that Marge also owns when she was in the wrong, or she felt she was in the wrong. Like, I had written down about her point where she even said, like, it did sound insensitive when I had said that kids are resilient and can go to therapy, but I was just trying to comfort her in that moment, and I can see why.
And it didn't sit well.
Right.
It didn't land well, but she meant good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she owned that and apologized for it.
Point.
So,
that's a good point, Mike. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry.
I feel like Jen I think she's so, she must have been trained really well by Melissa, or by Teresa, because Teresa will get a question asked to her. Teresa doesn't even have to answer it, because Jen is jumping in with reasons why and excuses why.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like she is kind of this, like, soldier for her.
Agreed.
You know, like, she's been trained to,
well,
you know, Teresa doesn't even have to answer her own questions anymore.
when we get to needs a timeout,
Yeah.
we'll say the
Okay.
exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy had said something about
Not
how, like,
timeout. Sorry.
Needs a break.
Needs a break.
That's right.
Yes. And Andy had said something like about how, like, she had wanted to be a housewife and how she knew that her and Bill might have to discuss, or possibly the fact about his infidelity coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Andy's 100% right. I think she wanted to be a housewife, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to continue and be one.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting if Teresa's not on the show to see if she has a softer relationship, like Jackie said at the beginning. Like, I would love to see her not be so much of an enemy to these people because she's so blindly following and defending.
Like, I loved the episode with her and Marge, and
Yeah.
how vulnerable they were both in that moment. And
Hence why,
and it almost seemed like after that ended, that things reverted
I know.
in the presence of Teresa. You
Yep.
know?
Yes. Yes, what he said earlier.
Yep.
She's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved at the beginning of the episode too that in those moments without Teresa, she had said something to the effect of, Teresa doesn't like to have things brought to the forefront.
Right.
And in that same moment, Andy had made a comment about how these things were already on the forefront.
Yes!
Marge didn't have to do that, and Jen
Yes.
agreed.
Yes.
Jen agreed with Andy. Yeah, they were.
Oh, shoot.
No, you're right. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought about this too, and I was like, here's the deal. If you don't address what's in the blogs and the news, then how authentic is your show?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yes,
Actually,
it is.
That's, yes.
So, you know, like, yeah, it was in there. Margaret addressed it. Teresa wasn't happy. But if she didn't, then do you really have a show that's really a reality TV show? Like,
It's not
these
real.
are things you have to talk. I mean, you look at all the other shows, they have Erica Jane, you know, for her potential, cooperation or whatever, like, you know, being an assistant to her husband, you know, in his legal troubles. You have Jen Shaw in Salt Lake City. Like, she's actually right now in trial. Like, you have these things, and if you don't address them, then why do people watch? It's not real.
Like
Right.
Dorit,
It's not reality,
what,
not
you know, with what happened to Dorit.
Right.
She had to address all that
Yes.
in the public
I
eye.
mean, infidelity, whatever it is,
Ugh.
it's not great, but don't go on a reality show. And if you're not willing to address it, then don't go on a reality show.
Right.
You know?
And it looks so bad
Yes.
for Louis. That's
Yes.
the part that,
Yes.
you know, this season has not cleared the air for him
No.
at all.
No.
And has instead made this seem like it's this
There's-
huge secret that, you know.
And there are so many women out there,
Mhm.
exes, that are
Yes.
bringing up stuff that they're not addressing right.
Mhm.
And like
Looks
Margaret
bad.
said, you hear it, you address it, you move on.
Hey,
Mhm.
You know? And like even with Jen and Bill,
Forgive.
speaking of them, like, yeah, the infidelity was, you know, sort of throughout the season, but it was as a result of Jen's, you know, response to it. Not that she did anything wrong. I'm not saying that at all, but you know, it could have been, yes, this happened, Bill addressed it, then we move on, but then because he didn't, and then does he stick up for her? And
Mhm.
is she mad at Margaret? And Margaret did this. It becomes a huge storyline. And
and well, my point. Okay, so
Yeah,
another
go ahead.
thing, and this is, I don't know. Do you think it helped her storyline of this coming out? Because she was kind of just
okay,
Teresa's puppet.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Give her more
now
of a
she has her
storyline.
own storyline.
Yep.
It's making
Yeah.
her a little bit more seen
Yeah.
and heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think it actually helped her
Yeah.
her character in this reality
Well,
show?
it gave her, people are talking about her.
Point being, yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you want to stay in the show, I mean, look at Tracy Barber. Nobody was talking about her. She's not on the show.
Yeah. She's not at the reunion after
Exactly.
being on the whole season. Yeah.
So, do you think, because I think Jen was, last season, yes, she started drama,
Mm-hmm.
but her storyline really was just
Right.
nothing.
She
Yeah.
just like
where she headed out,
Right.
and this actually
kept her in.
pushed it to the forefront.
Yeah. It
I mean-
really did. That's a good point.
That's
Right?
a very good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, and
especially for someone whose angle is, seemingly to be on the housewives.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
It kept her
yes.
real and alive.
Mhm.
Well, I think
On the
that's
show.
why she's aligned herself with Teresa, because she knows she's always going to be
Yes.
part of a storyline.
Good point.
She'll always be relevant. As long as you are friends with the villain, the villain's always going to have some sort of showtime.
Mm-hmm.
So she will too.
And now, if Teresa leaves, we still have Jen's storyline here.
Mhm.
Right. I see what you're saying, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Good point. All right. So that was Jen and Bill.
Which means Dolores
Oh,
and Frank are up next.
All right. Who wants to start with this one?
Frank.
Frank living at David's right now.
I know.
Never
I know.
a dull moment with them, it
Oh.
seems. They'll just live with whoever
I
within their own
know.
bubble.
It's
little-
kind of funny because Dolores, a ride and die friend.
Yes.
Like David and Frank living together. She dated, married both.
Yep.
Now she's with Polly. And he's now. It went quick, it seems, because he's seen her every day.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
living basically in the same.
Well, what I was thinking is like her Dolores and company, meaning her Frank and even David to some capacity. Like I feel like you're so loyal that once you're in, you're in. And she actually said this, and honestly, like I wrote this down because I totally identified with this quote. Like, so she was saying that she will take. It takes a lot for her to walk away, but when she does walk away, she's done. And that's exactly how I am too. It takes a lot for me to get angry. It takes a lot for me to say I'm over something. But when I am, it's either I'm hurt or broken so much I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like the way she lives her life is totally that mantra, which is Frank cheated on her when she was pregnant, but he's still so intimately in her life.
Yeah.
David, she's breaking up with him. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him, but her family still has him so intimately in her life.
He was with her mom.
Teresa has, not invited her to her engagement party. Who knows if she's going to go to the wedding? She just had a birthday party, right? And Dolores didn't go to that either. So, but it's like she's still intently a part of her life. I just feel like for her to get to the point to cut you off is so distant that for her to have been over David, she must have gone through literally 5 years of feeling like a back burner and just couldn't do it anymore. You know? So
but it's still in her life.
But not her life.
Well, yes,
her people's lives.
Yes.
You know?
Still.
I don't know.
I don't know. I agree with you, but I still think he's around and he knows what's happening with Dolores and she knows what's happening with him because of her children and Frank and her mother. He took care of her mother every day once she had that surgery and everything.
Yeah. But I keep thinking that's not Dolores' choice. That's her family's choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, Frank's choosing to live there. David chose to be a part of her mother's care. Her kids choose to keep a relationship. She's not.
Right. But I think,
who knows? Maybe she's trying to make him jealous too. I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't think she's trying to even make him jealous or anything. But I think if you and Meg, if I were to be mad at Meg and she's still in your life, I don't know. She's still kind of in mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
by association.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although I guess if you cut him off, you cut him off.
But I don't know. Maybe David's being messy because, to be honest with you, if he's dating Louis,
my gosh, yes,
he does seem quite messy for someone who we did not get to hear a ton from.
Yeah,
because he seems always to have been so much more involved with her family than her, and Dolores seems to be a freaking catch. Like. I can't believe the way I can't believe the way that he let that fall through the cracks for him. And then he sounded to be upset with her about it.
I know.
Totally agree.
She just deserves so much more than that. So he does seem to be messy from this angle right now.
Okay, so then let's go to Frank and Polly. They're not friends.
I know. I did kind of worry about that for Dolores because it seems like Frank has to be such an integral part of her life.
But Dolores is very good friends with Polly's ex.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think what's going to come down to is if Frank wants to continue to be in the know with Dolores' life, I think he's going to have to come around to Polly.
Which I think he will.
Dolores seems to be in love with Polly. Polly seems to be treating her right. And I think that if Frank wants to be a part of this dynamic, he might have to bend more.
Right, and I think he will. I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I think he will eventually come around. I think he's just very protective. Polly must have done something.
Yeah.
I think he just knew. And I think they love David. But David wasn't going to commit to Dolores. And if she doesn't want that, then they've got to get on board. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, it's the same. I feel like it's like a divorce. Like, it's like you may not want the divorce, but they do. And so you've got to support them either way then. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you can't make people be together.
No,
you know? So, I don't know. But, all right, Meg, what are you thinking now?
I think that covers everything that I had for the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so do we have Jackie next? Is that Jackie and Evan?
Yes.
Okay, good for her. I know.
Love
All right, you start us off here.
So Jackie, I'm so proud of her with coming out and with her eating disorder and making it so public and doing what she needs to do to get better.
Yeah.
And keeping it real and telling us all about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks good.
Oh, just she looks healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, she does look healthy.
She does. She looks fuller in the face. Her shoulders look better.
Mm-hmm.
She looks good.
She does. I also was thinking too, like, you know, when her therapist first said, I think you should do a residential treatment center. I do understand where Jackie's coming from. Like, her therapist is like, you're so sick, you're on the verge of XYZ, you need to go full force. But here's the thing about recovery, whether it be eating disorder, alcoholism, whatever. You can only do what you're comfortable with. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right. And
you're right.
It seemed like with her that she almost didn't see how that could translate effectively back into her everyday life. So in her own least restrictive environment, I felt like being home with that more intensive care coming to her seemed like if there was going to be a rate for success would be the most successful path for her.
Well, it's almost like every day she has to choose to be in recovery. Yeah. Because if she went to a residential treatment center, yes, she'd be there. It would be on her own accord. But I feel like if you're at home and every day having to say, I need to go to the counselor, I need to try this, I need to implement that, it's maybe more in your head, the decision you have to say yes to. And you're forced
to do it.
Yes.
Like in treatment, they're there. You just walk down the hallway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And one thing I'll say about residential treatment centers is, you know, you can sometimes learn behaviors that make your issues bigger and worse because you are around similar-minded people. And not all of them are in the same frame of recovery as you are. They might have been court ordered to be there or been like forced to be there. Right. And so they're coping with being there by making, you know, by still like, you know, feeding their disorder while making it seem like they aren't. And so I feel like sometimes at those residential treatment centers, although needed for some people for sure, I think you have to be mindful that sometimes you go in wanting to be healthy, but you learn these tricks that you probably should be learning from the people who are there who shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You know, and with eating disorders, you know, you can do that. You can hide things. You can, you know, there's lots of ways to do that. And I just feel like maybe it was the best thing she didn't go in there, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting too. She had made the comment about how much she's kept from Evan and all of this.
Oh, I know.
But, I mean, she put it perfectly. Like she felt embarrassed by the things she was doing, and that's such a terrible way, I'm sure, to be feeling about your own behaviors and actions and the way that they've impacted your relationships with the person you love the most. I can't imagine being.
And he seems so supportive.
Yes.
He's not huge on the front lines, but from when he is in the scenes, he's always supportive and saying, "What do you need? You know, what can I do?
Absolutely.
You need to do this. You need to do that."
Right.
Yeah. And he's even said, like, you didn't have to tell me for me to notice these things were happening with you.
Yes.
You know? And he loves her all the same.
Of course. And yet he wasn't pushing her.
Yeah.
Because I think he knew if you push, then she's only going to hide.
Withdraw.
Yeah.
Withdraw.
Be
there
sneakier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one thing funny about her, though, we had talked about sleepaway camps before, is, you know, when she sent her kids away, I've never been to a sleepaway camp. Like, I did, like, day camps. I don't know. I would have been so nervous to leave. I feel like good for her kids because they seem to go away and be fine. But I think I would have been like very homesick. I was a very homesick kid, so I think that would have been me.
I went to sleepaway camp for 2 weeks first summer.
Okay.
And it was tough. I was a very love mom and dad.
Yeah.
There. But after the first few days, you adjust.
You get, okay, all right, well that's good. Okay.
Just like, but depending on the person you are, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like the regularity with it, like if it becomes a regular thing, that makes it more easy to leave home. I don't even think I've been to a regular day camp before.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I think exactly one time.
Okay.
I went to a like science camp when I was little. It was like a week long.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, but I don't think I have other. I used to do dance camps. Never mind. Scrape the whole thing.
Never mind.
She's my studio. Never mind.
Yeah,
I forgot about the 20 years of dance experience I had, and then I did that every summer. Yep, never mind. So, yep.
Okay, she's done day camps. There we go.
In the day camps, but yeah, I mean, even at those, so we would end it with a sleepover at the end, and I don't know. When I was younger, I was never away from my family for more than a night, so I couldn't imagine how I would have responded in such a situation. I just don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Justin went to, he did day camps. He never did summer sleepaway camps.
Right.
Except, like 5th grade, we did send him to a 4-day overnight camp, and he was all right.
Okay.
He didn't want to go, but we kind of forced him. Which is also a question: do you force a kid or not? And he survived.
Right.
He came home. He's like, that was okay. He's like, I didn't eat. I'm like, oh no. He was a picky eater at that time. So I was like, you didn't eat? It's like, nope, didn't eat. I'm like, oh my goodness.
No.
That was like in 5th or 6th grade.
Got it. Okay. I think it's like a
It's
hard
an adjustment. I
was gonna say, like, I'm not a parent, so like I totally reflect to you, Karen, but like, I feel like it's got to be a very fine line of where you push and where you don't.
I think you need, as a parent, I think there is a time where you have to force your child to do something they don't want to do, right? Because it could make them a stronger, more independent person.
Yeah.
Well, but there's also times you have to let them choose to.
Right. Well, I told you my parents pushed me to go away to college, and I did not want to, but it was the best thing for me. So
me too.
You're right. You never know.
You never know.
Yep.
So,
alrighty.
Right.
Are we on to our rising star?
I believe
Take
so.
a break? Okay.
Wait, so hold on.
Yes.
So there was some. Well, you don't have to put it back.
It's okay.
But
oh yes, your question, Karen.
My questions.
Yes.
There was. So I posed the question of what is a dress that one of the women wore that you would wear?
Okay.
And mine, it was because I'm a modest person. I don't like, I'm not a big dresser upper either. But Marge and Jackie's dresses were the best. I think Marge, because she's more my age, or I'm closer to her age, and she covered, and I'm a cover person. Jackie, it's because it was pretty and it was less revealing as the rest.
Yeah.
I would feel most comfortable in those.
Okay.
Yeah. You?
I love those choices.
I like Jackie's for the same reason, but I also like Melissa. I think because when I looked at the couch of Dolores and Jennifer and Teresa, I was like, no.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I looked at, Marge, Jackie, and Melissa, and I was like, okay, hers was a little too low for me. Jackie's I loved, and then Melissa's was like, I kind of get like the off-shoulder thing, but I feel like I'm in the minority because I know that you guys were not a fan of Melissa's. So,
well,
which is fine.
Just not for me.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Meg, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
I was also thinking Jackie.
Okay.
So I think we're all really in
Jackie.
alignment on
Jackie's
Yeah. Okay, so
Jackie's
we're all
dress.
All right,
She just looked so wonderful.
Yes.
I love the dress itself. She looked great in it.
Yeah.
Good for Jackie.
Yeah.
Although we were all saying that when they showed the highlights from last reunion, all of us were like, oh, we love those.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, right? We kind of like their outfits from 2020's reunion.
Yes.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your other question?
Is there a requirement
Mm-hmm.
for if you're on a housewives show?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to get breast enhancements? Because I think out of all the franchises, I believe they all do.
I'd say
Especially-
like 95% of them do. Having watched older episodes of Beverly Hills, if you remember from, oh gosh, what's her name?
Give it to me. What
Catherine.
season?
Catherine. So sorry,
No,
Meg.
Catherine,
this
yes,
is like
that's okay.
season maybe 13. Catherine,
Baseball wife.
who was married to I think Donnie, who I think was a football one. I don't think she had any augmentation.
Okay.
And
So then you're right.
Alex McCord from New York. Don't
Um,
think she did either.
Okay.
You know what? Did Kim Richards ever?
Yes.
know.
She did by the end?
and then she
Okay.
had him removed.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's 95% do and maybe 5% don't, and maybe it's only 5 people that don't.
Yeah.
And we've named what?
It's the
Alright,
very
so-
large
Yeah,
minority
yeah.
that have not.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. All right.
It
Okay.
does
That's it.
seem like a requirement, though.
Yeah. It seems like something they all
Yeah.
want to do.
Yes, I agree.
Um,
Well, I mean, I think they're like, if I'm going to be looking flashy in these outfits,
I need to in low
Enhance.
cut stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a very small amount that have it. To be honest with you,
yeah.
you know,
Or any type of plastic
right,
cosmetic surgery.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Now, I'm sure 100% of them have had some sort of
And you know
work
what?
done.
And
Yeah.
like we said,
Yeah.
I would if I would do some
Yeah.
kind of things.
Same.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Like I have a list of things I do.
yes,
Yeah.
me too.
You know, I mean, there's a reality. I mean, like literally, what would I do first? It's really what's my first, second, and third choice. You know?
Right, it's
Yeah.
finding the time
Yeah.
to do it, finding the money,
Yes.
and finding the
The
time
doctor.
off.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
doctor.
And the
I feel-
time,
yeah,
the
yeah. Like,
recovery.
yeah. So no, I totally agree on that. That was a good question, Karen. Yeah, it's really making me think now too. Like I'm really assessing in my head all the houses. Yeah,
who and
exactly.
who does not.
Mhm. Yep.
I don't think there is a natural housewife out there without some type of.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good question. Post
Is there
your
one?
comments.
Mhm. Is there a natural housewife that you can think
That's
of?
right.
Who's had nothing?
Right. We have 2, which was Andy and Jackie. I think we did Andy last weekend too, or last week, because he just. Yeah, those are great.
That's a good
pictures, Meg.
picture.
Thank you.
Thanks.
He keeps everyone in order, which I really appreciate, and challenges Teresa, which I also appreciate. Jackie, her storyline, I think, is just really relating. If you don't have an eating disorder, I think you can relate to her passion and wanting to improve in some capacity of your life. And I appreciate her being so open and brave.
I agree.
So,
Well said.
Agreed, absolutely.
Okay.
Of course, we know Teresa is Teresa,
Mhm.
and she needs a break often. I also think Jen, because when they were speaking about the whole spandex leggings and Teresa body shaming,
right.
shaming Marge, I think.
Yep.
And when the girls were telling Teresa that was so wrong, Jen immediately jumps in and just totally defended
Yeah.
Teresa, giving excuses, saying, well, it was this, and it was, and she was just agreeing to, it's
I agree.
okay to body shame
Yeah.
Marge at that point.
She has daughters.
Absolutely. She has
Exactly.
daughters.
And
Who were bullied. Daughters
Yeah.
who were bullied. We saw this in 2 seasons ago. Like,
oh, yes.
Yeah. I
Jen
forgot.
does.
right? Like,
The little girl
Her friends didn't want to be friends
No.
with her at school
Yes,
anymore. Yeah.
like she knows better,
and
Yeah.
she just
but she wants to be relevant.
blindly defended her.
Yep.
Like, not
Yeah.
like it took a second to think about it. She just
No.
jumped right in and was like,
Yeah.
well, no, Teresa was just meaning this. And
No.
I'm like, come on.
She's a member of Teresa's army, and she knows what's expected of her in order to remain a member. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
reality.
So
you
so that's why I added her to that. I
Yeah.
think she just is
know?
And I think
not
that,
cool.
that Jackie had to be so strong in those moments to have watched Teresa not only say those things, but then Jen to also come to her defense.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think they both need a break. I think Teresa 100% and Jen, if you're going to continually be her lackey, I guess, for better of another term, like, you're going to have to take a break too.
They need a break from each other.
They do. They do.
You're right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have our exit ticket. Meg, you take this, honey.
All right. So we've kind of talked about our final thoughts from
Yeah.
this episode.
I think we just can't wait for episode 3 because it seems like things are going to go crazy. So we will see how all of this wraps up.
Yeah, I can't wait for all the guys to come too for
Oh,
this next
yes.
episode.
I love the guys.
Yes.
I saw the guys on Watch What Happens Live. They did like a guys from New Jersey, like maybe a few weeks ago, and I watched it. It's just so cool to see them together. They're a cool group of guys. Like,
they need
really
their
are.
own spin-off.
Yes.
I love
They
this
really
group of
are.
guys.
Out of every city, they combined collectively have an actual relationship, and I love them. I think it's really entertaining to see them on show.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, okay, very cool.
Can't wait for that. But otherwise, like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
If you happen to know if there are any housewives who have not had work done to them, let us know. But also let us know if you've considered what your list would be.
We've been open about ours.
Yeah.
So
I know. I have many things I could change.
Yeah. All right,
All
we'll
right,
see you
thank
next
you for
time.
listening. Bye, guys.
Bye.